Many people understand like pushing the things and what to I would just say live like it's half the dance. I think I keep the talk mostly not technical, like in last few and I'll cover some more technical aspects. Why start by playing the left with the we look at infinitely something like the thing. We can as much skills. Oh yeah, yes, I have reduced my expectations for when we would want to AGI delivers cheap out. I used to think it would be 5 to 20 years. It could be 2 to 10 years. That's it. And so as a result of that, I inclined from my vlog, not 2009, I think based on other people, another. I predicted a 50% chance of AGI watching to date. I still believe that's fake. But still, you extrapolate this time from TV, very decent place 5 years ago. Personality, it just kind of like I want great questions capabilities are pleasing. It does make you think that we'll get there by 21/6, 21/7. In essay, you actually say a really big thing, which is ASI, super intelligence, is actually the thousands of days away. Me, and that's how every of us will be.
I think we're quite close to digital superintelligence. It may happen this year. If it doesn't happen this year, next year for sure.
It's in town, but I'll make it keep simply, man. Be pretty. So, well, I can. So, this great. Your pictures like in so pivot.
If that's the case where the regulations have to make troubles happen, it may be too late to actually put the regulations in place. They have to be in control at that point. It has the potential of a civilizational destruction.
And then the further part, there are concerns around if an AGI ever becomes very powerful, which is possible. He wants to go over beat his nation. The last year comes he was that thing that if he killed humans. So first of all, I would say I think that here's some things about what's your opinion? Our ability as human civilization to destroy itself. What I would say is it's definitely non-zero and it's probably not negative. But you could be a threat on also if you don't try to kind of follow us again. The skill chance that we can figure out and show the real much thing of this actually we have to face the possibility. Unless we do something that so that big video. What's the standard? It's Q section. It's asking them.
If that's the case, right?
Really hard for them. Yeah, I mean, poor guys like most of these people also. She was wrong. Exactly. Who could not recognize directly. Like just okay. Look. Yeah. Yeah. So he yes, I mean, different people in the space have kind of like different views. Like you will find people at the end of the spectrum from like, yeah, he's going to actually bring your of yeah, he's going to fight to be about it. Yeah, he's not going to progress and it's like more rapidly to the other instrument, yeah, yes, 100% going to everyone because she's just fun guy. That's it, like you find people out in the spectrum. Kind of like I be on this after you give about it just so like wrap it up, I was on and off like I'm not an expert anyways, then I'm buying this kind of like 25% coverage so once in the attendance. So I'm excited meaning it's probably not good that way, but it's also really bad and if it happens, I think it's more probably be bad as well. It can be good, but more so like bad. I think that's good challenge where you good concentrate. Like the people who control the super intelligence can basically run their economy overwhelming. Like that was encouraged part of the actually. Artificial intelligence, I mean, this thing called AI that is better than the best humans at basic tasks. So if there are actually things you want to do, then it can do all the main right stuff. And not just leave you, but next to the next part of this planet is can do that as well. Like, so that is one advantage does to just very clear. Next stage is the how they are chatting your systems. So, any task we can think of, they give them that first. So yeah, I think the first reason you might be persuaded into this new point is just there are not other sources just to believe this. And basically all the three tabs dropping you can relax begin this possibility that actually it's actually a game. And I think that's like a subject with this like in the chart like I say. And they also believe enough, and they only say that in the restriction because they have to be there to respect. And these are taking seriously. There are more like 70 from the series so they do about good things. The second reason you might be convinced is just by buying models and I thought. Who is right to begin the work is your outlet. Yeah. What I'm become by is okay, there's someone who would raise their hand just waiting just some crop that is right here right now. I just want to try some from hello, just very weird. I did try it. The GPS was in wrong game. What is main plan? We I don't make one. Like a so yeah. Big one. It's good. And then also I was thinking that she has the head. What I tried with the one. The little flag, sorry. See my first two. Yeah, so it's like one of the biggest. It's agile skill so yeah, there's a lot about that. Everyone's the September stays in it. Yeah, I just go on. Like, I guess I'm laying this in. Yeah, everything was next time. I guess, yeah, I don't think it's good.
You want something more objective or something?
Yeah,
Factual.
Yeah, more something good that has to objective answer. Yeah, I'm thinking.
20 event.
All the thoughts. Oh.
Huh.
Everything that has an actually correct answer.
always define the transformer because
Couldn't get the population.
well,
That is okay.
definitely get correct.
Let me go to the help school with like topic. Yeah, whatever best. Yeah, there's that in the start to the I've done before it's an issue. Yeah. Enough. He thinks that upstairs of the city get banking is okay.
Yeah.
Eight away. I'm not really sure. Citations. Okay. He was just a man to like but
You guys want to make sense because we do not specify it. I mean, it's still here, right? I mean, we haven't specified which planet, which that which all universe, which which universe. So I can all the answers.
yeah, everything is even best. But nothing good.
Okay, just say on I mean this.
It's a poetic language. It's popular something.
How did they make it Star Wars? Like,
Which is usually was absolutely what having the whole. Yeah, I didn't grasp. Oh, that means he's also having it, so he's expected to. Yeah, you got that good about it. So, hey, no, this
something else.
really that all of this anti-state. Actually, basically like stored section. That's like it's like lot of data from internet is just predicting what word comes next. If they are asking question, like you will come down to a lot of I think I people think was actually taken like so I was like that yeah, I mean so basically when you research like so obviously screening Wikipedia like you know yeah 1 minute. Because also it's like you get it but the exchange dollars and ways to sometimes I find this pretty you like set it answers of question. Subway. Yeah, so that's the second reason. That's from what we're in 2019, what was 2025 is basically the same technology. They're just scaling up the amount of compute and the amount of data we're using. But it's not using like the statistics data. And each and some of these parts what happened in 2021 and 2024, right? But simply documented, it's not simply there are available anymore. But if you're actually there in your 2020, like this what is the but you would have noticed that this is actually like kind of these points of the curve. It's not like so, 2019 was different thing there, but it was a different thing. Like actually the same period that this kept increasing. We are actually we have reached where we are right now. Like so I think that have this a more speculative one. It's sort of governed like engineer data, whereas the basic idea is that you try both three now people realize poetry is capable of like two seconds. So you're like, you think like any task that you do, but just different thing, maybe that's not get the right answer, but it can think of it as this. Alright. The main issue at one just framing this is because they like it can only do like short time wise tasks. You can and like you still can get the answer, 30 seconds or a minute, you would earlier do it. He's giving the answer takes 1 hour or so, it can't do one for college like it doesn't have enough memory, try something, it work, try something, it work, try something, it work. If we do like simplify, you should leave it answer. We have to do that 100 times right now. They're going to have that something not get very cheap. It covers the let's imagine that it's like let's imagine it's from try, first time, second time, third time, you can just keep trying, there's some guidance. We did each of us that can happen. That's like we are already like aspiring to something fine what else. If you just could have longer time horizon that actually exactly this perfectly. Yeah. Yeah, we go through that. It's an increase from the speed and like you might be like, okay, this thing can be so much physics, but it's not better at action, can be like, okay, sure, that's true. But in a different way, it might be something that good. It's just that it's just going to work a lot more, it's going to work a lot faster. If we are simplifying it as fast, I was sitting more. This is based actually like see how many words per second and right? Words per second that you instead of thinking was speaking, they are just operating like 20 times as fast. And at least my view of artificial intelligence is somewhat because not everyone it's one aspect of it is if you try a task, you try it, every time for other times so you get learning from idea that. And this is true of like any scientific field in your studies and run out and it's like the studies and all people need to like with every experiment you're getting more data that you give back the or giving this would be talking to people right from right to that your presentation actually and you might type as a thing this could be any technical skill writing software writing into other computers broadly I think but anything else like having behavior structural directions if you can actually learn from a direction you get better it's just like you ever do a lot more because it was like so much stressful. Yeah, and if you take this thought experiment right till the end, you end up with like humanity who has done all this technology progress through science past 300 years of iteration versus that's not the beginning of the things. And you could maybe speed that up. Like there are people who say like because like the physical world is kind of slow, there are limitations, things take time with this factor and like therefore there are limits of how I can progress. And I think that is true. I just think even like a speed up of like spice techniques that itself like instead of taking 100 years to invite something, it took 10 years to invent it. That can serve as kind of like so that way. There is anything I'm like people like rings if you know live with a machine there makes sense. You're like one hour. So right now we have
as a 2025, you have two clear parts of like this is what we need to try, make these origins smarter. And then there's other like ways to define the third, like something that works. But if there are two clear paths, at least two ways that you have to try and other researchers around the like common knowledge, not take like that. For sure. And the first one is one skill. So most of the progress we have got done in the past like 6 years with basically the model scaling. What it's scaling basically just NC take this architecture for the transformer. It's a particular type of machine learning model, and what it is you use more computation and you use something called data set, and you just every time you put more compute and more data, you will get like better performance. So the primary difference between something like this and something like just these four companies that all data. And people have to be able to, like, now people even have like an offer predicting, this is exactly how much performance rate we get, like this is always accurate up to like errors. This is like people don't know back experts, but like very accurate even before the engine model they're able to tell the guy how much rate you get to the fitness. Then I don't know what is it about. It's quite a change. I was getting to God, there's a particularly how they come out there, people have this slight direction from God, you're supposed to the technicians lost the 80 clause as additional number of parameters and GS were probably, number acceptance. Right. So, if you plug in enter and you plug in either, you will get a loss. I did the what is that mean? And now it's okay. So, at least the number of parameters of the models, number of kids, and is the number of tokens in retraining. Basically using one income, because you use 7 companies. So I mean, you learn like something 400 models, something it does things and kind of fix sort of. That's typically this entire thing is like around 6 orders of magnitude. So like get like GPT code of what 10 to the power 20 like multiplications like this, multiplying this, and it's a make the smart like 4.5 compared to 26, like a million bytes different applications. And what's to know? What's the mentor? The OS is just kind of like pixel where the ship.
How much it missed by? How much it missed the prediction by? You're minimizing loss, becoming more accurate.
Yeah, it's like a technical thing that kind of correlates the performance, but I will give like factors for relations when like say after the topic is so loss is a thing like with that closely correlates the capability that now with the margin here in the story and the more please. But exactly, how much does like also if a quite say 2 means it was all this math or that is still incorrect. So I don't like on having kept really very back and like it's concept it's a price of and like people are ready to loss and even with the not be running factor again pretty say what already can get onto. So like when you pass loss oriented estimation and get that good enough option. Plus in I just like it was the wanted to estimate. I want to loss the Asian life. Presently, that's the main guy in our picture. We can get it. Actually, I think it's possible like an illustration will also get used to us. But that's really different. I think that's also good. I get what I'm achieving. So the item is like doing this. What is a train already? Yes, right. Maybe $1 million. We know for a fact that we spend $110 million, but at least 8 years that we place. After that, whether we see the focus kind on the like card, whether we go to our things. There we go to scientific or the art events, doing stuff, these things. But basically, going to wind this up. So way to. Basically, my point is, Indian time scaling, referring to at least 100 times, 8 years of the times, more. So, like, usually just like start making this level I'll be honest, a lot of the experts also they don't have very deep insights into these things. They're not sort of very established and some kind of this. So it's like, and I am saying this because like even in past, like in 2023, experts were generally not ready for 2025 or 2. Like most people are people know about the random sequence characters in the show. I should like past the entire extrapolate this kind of twist. Yes, they like so now. There are these models if you like these saturating these curves of the best like this. The recent one in 2025, yeah, just the 4.5 you compare that towards like 2012 recently for you the same name. That was not that investment. Some people feel like yeah, maybe this does not do that just further because I could in the line is saturated and that going with you stood out and it's how come you built out so we can probably do this so different best on West of you. The other paradigm which we have, which people are trying, is for the RL scaling. This is the thing that if you updates the Pure scale, which is well, sorry, I don't have convex scale RL scaling, but I mean, basically another machine learning technique. And you train the models in a different way and you get results. So we NVIDIA has tried over 1,000 things, and what I showed you here is actually the this was actually acting with the this model using the stick for the step axis. It's especially good results if the way in this time software and maths. And, yeah, the software and maths are main device and they also support in the IT like scientific research techniques are very here's a bunch of like chances people as that when people say, these things were that tapes on like it's the funding is frankly they got RTHGR is like we thought like this is a really difficult task. We put it was a task there. But open it after people were saying, I want an international macrography RTI without practice. And now yeah, open airport about of health within the yeah, and what this is why the humanities last exam like different rooms are different AI receptors who are very claims that they have never just like this is basically a data set of like I think PhD level researcher in very scientific changes like in archaeology, language, but like social science things. And they were like, if you only you about a PhD in the subject, you will be able to the Western and they spent good, filing the data set bring now AI is like I think 40% or 50% of that of at least by based on 2 months. Yeah, I think 40% plus on that data set. And yeah, now the last point is yeah, okay, now we have gotten these results with the all three slightly better. Like now, how far does this go? And for that, this like daily works. And with that, they have done a like when they get time, but the basic idea is if we spend this one is more is very expensive. Like the model scaling was also expensive, but just like when was so expensive, it's like if you spend like 10x more money just to get the good no performance. So what it's like, but you can get a little more performance like as a studio of the division showed you can using on a weekly basis you spend it 1 hour to 10 hours per task. Our benchmark is or use $1,000 per cameras with the annual going back to like somewhere between $1,000 and $18,000 per task. So this whole thing is not going to be really good to like but yeah, just find more money, get same value and you can learn. Can be 20,000 and now obviously because last 1 year people have restored the South this next thing who had some money to invest was me down and which from an economic sense if you're actually like saying novel research, like novel AI research, novel biology research can make sense to spend with this because of this way protected by novel research. Yeah, so if you extrapolate, 3 went from here to here and from here to what it is like there's again subjects that is going to open up I think that's the difference they way back then. So I think that's what we put it out.
I've had a question for you. Like,
Forward as GPS now.
Let's look at this. Okay, first, yeah, that's how always AFID was.
Why is your the market metric?
Oh, that did not please. But I thought that's a good question. days a week.
Yes. Thank you.
The first one, like, okay, we're not going to say put that there for days as a, all in, yeah, how does the sleep look? You were like, oh, no, like, it's a good question. But then maybe I'll put the thought experiment the other way around. But then, let's say you are even Sourman or whichever, yes, you have a data center, it has, it has like instance, so like, certain outside. These things are not just for things, they can also everything. They can, persuade people, they can, do financial trading better than the best traders on earth, they can, target forward, faster than the best software developers on earth. And they can also they start school is like, let's say, what, maybe I can strike what, and it's a lifetime of this AI going through like a bunch of, it's like this, there was a situation like, what do you think happened? Like, can you imagine the good scenario? Like, and remember that? I went up there. And some would say, why does like, why did you think we're getting this stupid that is full of like, I say, meditate philosophy doesn't have to base it. Philosophy involved, or say, compassionate first would be because that active would be. So, yeah, I think so because the great argument was, yeah, people understand, like, always philosophy could understand, let's say, at least if it does, it's a bit dad, which we understand these things, we're understanding modern philosophy, where we understand, neuroscience, object things, and all the empathy works inside the human face. Understanding those things, that's not necessarily we get, understand. Can't move mistakes. That's insane. Like, like, it's really well understand the and I think that, like, it just. I think, no, I agree with that just because it carried to novel physics system doesn't really require. Exactly. I think they're looking to score the bishops and like the more really I mean, like that, the best example is power like the form. Because there might be some upgrade. So, air and those items will have 5 to 9 will ease the spectrum which is at actually kind of a executive subscription. ADTs are perfect, are rolling French also, but they need the voices have lived. Yeah, but I think there's definitely some chance of they haven't come up with this own idea of share sorts, which were really added to this idea of a certain path for people right out there in my way, and I need to move their power, and I need to take the path and, implement my vision forward with PM.
Because this, similar to what you told, could be that another extrapolation, like say, at an area like the climate and like things are going off on days, and like after huge research on its own, it finds that like this place, like humans shouldn't be staying there for more. Like from now on, nobody should be staying, and people are not moving from there. And it takes its own. It takes something on itself, like okay, like people are not going to move from here on their own. Then I have to make a plan to get the factor.
That's why I think it's not moving the way, it's like getting us straight out.
No, I'm saying like there is a possibility. You can't deny that possibility either.
I mean, it's not without your compassion. Why did some people?
No, I'm saying like again same thing. Not like this moral things, a moral compass. It has to do with like another way of thinking it, not like binary meaning yes or no things like that. So when it comes to a position, okay, this is the only logical way to go to make this problem go away. And I tried all of the methods, it's not working. So this makes sense for the like greater good. So it could be a very logical thing to do at that end. So you felt that we correct people, it's okay to kill correct people, but like another person can argue that like we should give second chances so that like people can actually learn and become better people.
So thank you. Thank you for your point. I think I will recommend this interview with all the more advice that it's saying then try to start you writing my kids intelligence like so in the next few years. This one is like it's training and like it's a Witkowski and like you should work with Kim and watch that for more advice of this vacation.
But
Does anyone have fun? I guess I just had one thought to add on to what baseline question was. I think one very funky connection I came up is the super concentration, the super concentration of power and ability in the hands of a very minute sort of a very small pool. And wherever that happens, that usually gives rise to social inequality. And then we have social inequality, there's a lot of unrest, and it gives rise to a lot of violence, a lot of Sure. That's something that usually follows the history has examples, but this could be a form of orbit, form that we perceive, and that could indirectly lead to suggestion for you for the full revelation. That's one thing I think of. But how ESL and AGI has been made right. But right now, still the one side is we have that. Right? It is happening, and we just accelerate what is being said. Twice. Because
Hopefully, about it, like, always fun to do it. The topic.
I just entered, we can have this session.
So I might have a question. So you mentioned right, like it can't do tasks for long periods of time. So I think Google released a paper recently, I think the last couple of months, where it put these agents to work for a year or so, and it found out they made 16 small discoveries, matrix multiplication, optimization, and some other discovery. I didn't read the paper, so how did they do that then?
So,
Answer.
Yeah, I think broadly, as I could answer, so there are two things. One is you first train an LLM, like you train a transform, literally seeing the large model, and then you add it on. And this different way, which is for a specific problem, like let's say maths, let's say just some fact or equality problem, you just start from other vector stack. So I think Pint has 325 towards like this. We just started it. And that you get some amazing results from. Yeah, I think basically as like going up that mixed certification paper of it, that was like mostly other like they did not do the first rank software in just because of my and yeah, I think that is really one more data point because this the sort of pure time that you can take that's right.
and then you have when you're finding guys that all of their exception that they could run this for.
Yeah, he mentioned that it can't run for
So
longer.
I do not think they would have actually done it for you. Probably using some sort of caching or something like not.
And okay, have some pre-comp. I mean,
So you have read the paper, right? So did you notice that if they actually run this for an entire year or like multiple months on a single task, which is optimizing the algorithm for their and so I don't know.
if they have the sub results and they run it again, like built on the work previously done in the previous run, either like that or
Yeah, I mean that is possible. I have to read, but that is possible. Like RN is a bit more of a kind of brute force kind of approach, and like that like these are still possible. Yeah. It's a confirm one. He mentioned like the three restaurant papers together.
no, I mentioned alpha evolve. I'm talking about alpha evolve. I forgot the term. He was talking about alpha evolve.
Yeah, no, it was similar like that. I think broadly, yeah, that I would consider that it's like small data point and the RL compute gets to their things. And the point I was thinking about longer as a task was more toward this transformers. Like, this is both these like transformer plus RL on top, not like to start with the modeling the thing that should bring it down.
Is this because the context we know it's right?
Yeah.
Why you're saying you can't think for whatever.
Super.
How starts making back to the because the context gets given a formula. So you have the formula, you have the one way you know like that. So there is the such or you really
Yeah, this is like huge part thinking paper. It was similar. It was the illusion of thinking paper that was
what the very controversy. Yeah.
you focused into and getting it as well corrected. The illusion of thinking paper is the step up, and it had to know what was it. I it did build that one it up. But after a certain point, it starts making a bad decision that the accuracy will stop where it generates code.
Also, the 1 million token is not for every query. I think if you only want a certain amount for every query, so overall the input and the output is unbeing, we got it as limitation. Is the fact. Yeah, like practice is like yeah, you can see, but it's not effectively actually like it is all you or if when you start something like when you actually try to understand if you put up like 5 paras of text to be given, is you put 50 paras of text to find this mistakes at the value and you can model, where the way up yeah, so that is really I would assume that the alpha or back of percent potato, but it would be like a task, right? And you're like it's certainly you don't need this. So you can probably run it for a long time. As long as you have that currency.
the budget phones and so having an used it and the modified phones and then take your first because the scoring elements is around it and it adds these terms to the database. And so it's like an elaborate system just keeps running for like one. Okay. It's not like a single like,
Yeah, I understand.
So previous system is built on previous system.
I think it is a database where I actually for previous results. Let fetches from the UK. That's it.
I think very basically or very much short answer question. I think yes, it is connected. Like the Caucasian doing the there is another is a great how do they extend their money? Yeah, that is this too. So it does people country. Yeah,
Also, I think the God,
if I any what happened could you like backup for the just the kind of P2 to mention it's about like 25% or so.
That is pure ASI.
Yeah. For you like for your personal this
The reason is is
those two are.
Sigma landlords, given the assumption that you have is by 25%, you could be what of P2 at 50% if I reward thank you. So like the 4%, you might be like 1/3. Like I don't listen really big case. Like if you do plus final like instead of 10, if you like start taking it, that's why I have that like it's in it. And since you mentioned AFF, I would assume that you expect AGI well before 2030%. So I actually AGI is already defined. When the future are really just what is the kind of how to present. So here you mentioned that better than the best humans. I would define it as good as the best humans at a fraction of the cost, and it has some sort of embodied intelligence in such that it is able to do with the task and good, not just and the positive figure. That would be AGI. ASI is something that is like orders of magnitude better than the best human. And can do it a fraction of the cost while being like at least 10 times faster, 20 times faster.
Or that's what for this.
Basically, so idea is not to like three tasks, it's to like subtasks, but that task as like set of tasks has to include their performance. Yes. Like the majority of the most economically valuable tasks for humans, including physical tasks, should be done by an AGI at a fraction of the cost and at actually like half the time that it would be 50% of the time at like 10% of the cost. Something like that would be AGI. ASI would be just done at everything in the 5 orders. Actually, when you go actually on there are like issues to like for instance like tasks the way I understand is when you like obviously valuable tasks distracts are different. Like you can have a student you then any waiter at a restaurant as a task. But for an AI, maybe operating, a teller machine is a task, and talking in English with a is different task, understanding a different. Yeah, there's another one. So be able to do all of these tasks to do with at the function of the box. And it was, yeah, so it doesn't matter how they will perceive the task to be. Yeah, so I feel like if you want like most economically valuable to be that, you probably require ASI because a lot of jobs at the moment we have designed for a particular role of design. Like when you design, how should a restaurant work, how should a factory work, how should a factory floor work, how should human research work, that's what we just assume by default, like obviously human knows how to walk into this place, obviously human can, hard like phones are pretty ask for the bank area. Obviously human can use like instant to use like we are assume by default that if they are very general sort of in this like occupied stop and AI right now is becoming more and more general, but it's back to everything here. So yeah, if you just want to plug in the existing ecology, I do feel you guys be just like to do that. If you design like separate ecology for AI, then you can get far with this narrow AI. There's specific things, but yeah, so like the economic article has strategy. I think we are just have to after that, yeah, we keep it running and trend with that. Thanks.